Hi there. Welcome to another useless Battletome review with me, Chris. Today we're looking at Battletome Nighthaunt. Big thank you to the folks over at Games Workshop for sending me a review copy of this book. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And right off the hop, you know, it's standard Battletome size. As soon as you crack the cellophane off, it has this little paper backing on it, as well as cards and a little range ruler. And of course, it's Shriek and the Stun and the Petrify tokens, as well as a little ruler for, I guess, determining, you know, if you're in range of those. But that's really not about the tokens. It's more about the book, right? So let's have a look into the book. Nighthaunt have been out pretty early on in the lifespan of Age of Sigmar. And they've gotten some wonderful updates in the past, some interesting models. Yeah, I mean, like, a whole faction of ghosties. I mean, like, what's not to like? And as far as, like, a painter's standpoint, you know, you can pretty much paint them any which way. You know, you can even go bright colors, dark colors, like, all sorts of different ways. It's very, very interesting. Right off the hop, we are the spectral host, and we cannot die. Thou cannot injure us, foolish child. Thy sword is no more threat to us than a spider's strand. And it goes on like that. Very, very cool. Yeah. So, when we get over into the table of contents, we're looking at a book of about 96 pages. Table of contents are the vengeful dead, the nature of the damned, of fear and weakness, into the realm of endings, the haunted empire, chronicle mortis, gathering of wraiths, the ever-cursed hosts, and there are 4 hosts, the Grieving Legion, Emerald Host, Scarlet Doom, and Quicksilver Dead, Nagash, the Great Necromancer, Lady Allander, Champion of Undeath, Splendor of Shyish, Painting Guide, Nighthaunt Processions, and then the Allegiance abilities, Path to Glory, Match Play, War Scrolls. A lot of War Scrolls, holy camolies. Goes on from Nagash all the way down to Vault of Souls, and then by page 96 it is Pitched Battle Profiles. Pretty darn cool. Lady Olander. I like that model. It looks really fiddly though. I'm sure there's a bunch of you who have already painted this model up, but yeah, it's fiddly. I like the artwork too. It's all ghosts and scary and it's evil. The vengeful dead. You know it deep in your bones, don't you? You can feel it on your back of your neck. The chill, the dread. That's how it starts, youngling. That's the first sign. But it's when they get in close. That's the real terror. Oh yes. When the scythe swings, the dagger stabs, the cold claws gouge, and there's nothing you can do about it. Voon the morbid seer of Mossspike. Very, very interesting. Again, with the Nighthaunt, I do not... Ooh, look at that piece. I like this guy with the big oar. He's kind of hilarious. The artwork's really cool though. It's a kind of a mix between like you know, like how the ghosts look in Lord of the Rings, that kind of spectral greeny kind of energy flowing all over the place. Nature of the Damned. I definitely like when they include a lot of the lore and such in these books, because that way it gets you really into the flavor of the army and, you know, what they're about. And, you know, it also hopefully sparks your imagination, especially when it comes to doing like campaign Path to Glory type games, where you can kind of really get into the lore and make the lore part of the, you know, tabletop experience. And I think that's really, really cool. And yeah, I think it's something that definitely should be encouraged more in this gaming environment, not just, you know, match play type scenarios. Nothing wrong with match play, just, you know, again, there's other ways to enjoy this stuff. Into the realm of endings. Gives us all sorts of stuff. The Haunted Empire. Again, I like when they include these little maps where it provides a bit of greater context to the, what is it, the Prime Inner Lands. There's all sorts of continents, and the ghosts spreading out all over the place. Ah! It's ghosts. Ghosts. Very, very cool. Yeah. Chronicle Mortis from the Age of Myth. The Coming of the God King. Alliance of Necessity. The Golden Centuries. Curanus' reward. Curanus' reward. The Mirrored City. Beginning of the End. Then the Age of Chaos. The Ruinous Powers. The War of Bones. The Crowning of the False King. Wrath and Betrayal. Soul Theft. Then the Age of Sigmar. The Tempest Breaks. The Allegiance. The Alliance of Anvarok. The Time of Tribulations. The Soul Wars. Sins of the Drowner. Siege of Sorrow. Invasion of the 8 Points. Cursed Skies. Red Vengeance. The Great Exorcism. The Error of the Beast. Tapestry of Woe. The Wound. To Wound the Colossus. I can't read. I mean, I don't think any of you guys are tuning in to listen to me really read this stuff, are you? Because I'm a terrible reader. The Gathering of Wraiths. And it gives you a breakdown of like the hierarchy of the Nighthaunt. I think that's pretty cool. Got the Craven King and the Monarch of Grief. Shroud Guard. Then you got the Death Riders, the Condemned Chain Guard, Execution Hordes, Death Stalkers, and Shrieker Hosts. Then the Ever-Cursed Hosts gives you a quick rundown of the little sub-factions within the force. The Grieving Legion, the Emerald Host, the Scarlet Doom, and the Quicksilver Dead. Yeah. Nagash, the Great Necromancer. Nagash is death incarnate, the supreme lord of the undead. He is a monstrous, nightmarish being with the ability to command all things that have passed beyond their mortal lifespan. He has a dark but purest vision, bring about the death of all living things, and then bind the teeming dead as his obedient puppets forever. A little grim. It's a little grim. Lady Oleander, Monarch of Grief, is a foe as inescapable as death itself. She speaks, but rarely, and even then only with a rustle in the mind. The thin howling of her handmaiden attendants, a stark contrast to her grave, cold composure. When she gives her whispered orders, the demise of thousands is usually soon to follow. Oh, she's grim. Yeah, you don't mess with her. You don't mess with her. Champions of Undeath. Alrak the Drowner. That guy cracked. That name, the Drowner. Like, you can't trust this guy. Why would you trust this guy? Like, he's gonna smack you with that oar. He's gonna, roll you into rocks or something. You know what I mean? Like, he just looks totally untrustworthy. As far as ghosts are concerned, really. I mean, I like the little quote. I just caught this little quote in the thing again, in the midst of the paragraphs. Better to drown than to trust the ferryman. Now I gotta read this guy's background. We gotta read about this guy because, I mean, looking at him, he looks untrustworthy, and yet it sounds like that is part of the character. So, bravo to the design team for creating and conveying that sense of this guy is not fun at all. Kurdos Valentine, the King of Nothingness. Reichnor, the Grimhaler. Is that like an asthma inhaler? Kulgast Cruciators, Knights of Shrouds, Dreadblade Harrows, Hex Wraiths. Got the Tomb Banshees, the Karn Wraiths, Guardians of Souls, Spirit Tormentors, Chain Ghasts, Lord Executioners. Yeah, pretty darn cool. The Scriptor Mortis. Speaking of which, I gotta finish painting mine. Glaive Wraith Stalkers, Grimghast Reapers, Chainras, Spirit Host, is that Eldar? Bladegeist Revenants, very, very cool. Mimewern Banshees, Dread Scythe Harridans, Craven Throne Guard, the Black Coach. Oh, the Black Coach still a thing? I like that model, the Black Coach. I thought that was for vampires. I thought the Black Coach was for vampires. No? Am I thinking of the wrong thing? I don't know. Splendor of Shyish. By about page 38, you get into the pretty pictures and the color guides and such. Will this have a painting section like the Daughters of Cain book? I don't know. Scriptor Mortis. I like this model. It's just fun. It's different. I mean, you don't really know how he's going to, like, how would you imagine him working on the battlefield? He just stands around, oh, I'll stab you with my pen. It's kind of like Batman, when Joker throws the pen. Is it like that? He's got a bunch of these pens. He's chucking pens at everybody. I don't know. Yeah, pretty pics. Yeah, I like this guy, the Drowner. It's a cool looking model. It's kind of hilarious. Oh man, all sorts of ghosties. The Scarlet Doom. They're just completely red. It gets really, really dark. That's really cool. I like it. Craven Throne Guard. All sorts of pretty pics for everybody. Yeah. Car Wraiths. I think I've painted one of those before. Some of these forms, I kind of see them as like, oh, I think I've painted that model before. I can't remember. Lots and lots of pretty pics. Hey, look at that. By page 52, we get a painting guide. Very, very cool. And with the painting guide, you get Blue Spirit. It's a layering technique. Green Spirit, dry brushing technique. Very, very interesting. They've given us two different kind of, techniques for how to apply color onto these models. For somebody new, I think having these painting guides in these main books, definitely a good thing, and should always be included in source books like this, right? Because you kind of have to assume somebody who's brand new, who's taking this up, you know what I mean? You don't want them going all over the place and getting confused, and you know what I mean? Like, no, just show them exactly how you get the book. This is how you're going to get it, right? And you list the paints, you list the techniques, show them how to do it, This is how I learned to paint way back 30 years ago, And so, like, I value these little tutorials. Showing how to do the cloth variants, rusted metal, verdigris brass, very, very nice, weapon variants, balefire, the candles, lantern glow, that's a big one, right? Other details being the steed, wood, grave, and hourglass. Nice. I like when they include, like, little things like that, like little close-ups, kind of explanation on how to go about it. Yellowing bone, then bone, blending, and hair. Blending. Thin your paint with Lamian medium and build up the effect using several thin coats. Pretty straightforward, right? I mean, again, like these, sometimes all you have to do is kind of just lightly touch on an idea to help, somebody get a little bit more out of this painting experience and out of this hobby, and yeah. Oh, what's a top tip? For cooler lantern glow effects, substitute Hexray Flame for Nighthaunt Gloom. Okay. The Nighthaunt Processions. It's the army rules, the allegiance abilities, battle traits, enhancements, processions, war scrolls, pitch battle profiles, allies, path to glory, war scroll battalions, and then for match play, grand strategies, and battle tactics. This is almost enough to make me start collecting these guys. Just because, like, from a painting standpoint, like, it's just, something fun and different, right? So, allegiance abilities, battle traits, the Nighthaunt Processions. You can pick one of the following subfactions, being the Grieving Legion, Emerald Host, Scarlet Doom, and Quicksilver Dead. The Aura of Dread. Enemy units are terrified while they're within 3 inches of any friendly Nighthaunt units. While a unit is terrified, it cannot issue or receive the Inspiring Presence command. This ability has no effect on Nighthaunt units. That's pretty big, especially when you're stuck in and, and everybody's fighting all over the place, and, you need to get that little bonus off for your units, and you can't do it because you're fighting against ghosties, and, everybody's scared out of their wits. Ethereal discorporeate. Okay. Wave of terror, frightful touch, vanishing phantasms. What's frightful touch? If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made by a friendly Nighthaunt unit is 6, that attack wounds the target automatically. Do not make a wound roll. So any 6s to hit are automatic wounds? That's handy. That's very handy, especially for like lower strength unit type of units and stuff like that, you know? Very, very handy. Enhancements, the command traits for the Nighthaunt hero: lingering spirit, terrifying entity, ruler of spectral hosts, hatred of the living, spiteful spirit, cloaked in shadow. What's the cloaked in shadow? This general cannot be picked as a target of a shooting or combat attack by more than 1 unit per phase. That's actually pretty handy, because you can't focus down a guy, you know what I mean? Like a hero anyway, right? But I mean, I imagine heroes probably get singled out and picked on all the time. But yeah. Artifacts of power. This is for heroes as well. Cloak of the Waxing Moon, Pendant of Fellwind, Midnight Tome. It's for wizards though. Okay. Very cool. The Artifacts of Power. It's for the hero. Shadow's Edge, Reaper of Sorrow, Slitter. Slitter? Did I read that right? Slitter. Yep, Slitter. Infernal Treasures, a hero only. Night Shard of the Harvest Moon, Beacon of Nagashazar, Soulfire Ring, Covetous Familiar, Witch Light Lantern. Man, some of these words are like tongue twisters. Then the spells. This is only for the Nagash and Nighthaunt hero wizard. Soul Cage, Spirit Drain, Life Stealer, Seal of Shyish, Shade Mist, and Spectral Tether. Very, very cool. I could not tell you if those were updated or changed or what have you, as I'm not familiar with the previous iteration of the Battletome, so again, pretty useless. For the processions, you got the Grieving Legion. Dragged into the grave, the morbid specters of the Grieving Legion fall upon their foe en masse to horrify their opponents before reaping their damned souls. Enemy units cannot retreat while they are within 3 inches of any friendly Grieving Legion units with 10 or more models. Oof. Man, there's no escape to those guys. The Emerald Host. Once an enemy is marked with the Emerald Curse, their doom is all but assured. After armies have set up before the first battle round begins, you can pick up to D3 plus 1 different enemy units on the battlefield. At the end of each battle round, roll a die for each unit you picked on the battlefield. On a 2+, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If that unit is a monster, it suffers D3 plus 1 mortal wounds instead of D3. Oh, picking on monsters now. Picking on monsters, my gosh. Scarlet Doom, Vortex of Frenzied Violence. Few have faced the Scarlet Doom and lived to tell the tale. Legend of their horrific assaults offer only one detail: waves of screaming specters cutting down any in their path behind a gaze of rage and vengeance. After a friendly Scarlet Doom Bladegeist Revenant unit makes a charge move, you can pick one enemy unit within 1 inch of that unit. If you do so, roll a number of dice equal to the number of models for that charging unit. For each 5+, the target suffers 1 mortal wound. 3 mortal wounds just for charging into somebody. Going in with like lots of dudes. Yeah. Or ghosts, not dudes. Models. The Quicksilver Dead. Artisans of Harrowing Death. The spirits of the Quicksilver Dead forge the demise of their foes and meticulously as they once forged their blades, with excruciating precision and merciless intent. Ward rolls cannot be made for wounds caused by attacks made with a melee weapons by friendly Quicksilver Dead Dread Scythe Harridan units. Jeez, that's a mouthful. Let's try that one more time. Quicksilver Dead Dread Scythe Harridans. Oof. Yeah, who's going next? Oh, it's my Quicksilver Dead Dread Scythe Harridans. It just rolls off the tongue. Page 64, we get to the Path to Glory. Hunters of the Realms, discovering terrified territories, haunting territories. Very cool. Of course, I will say once again, play more campaign, play more, story-driven, more narrative-driven games, please. Quests, Souls for Shyish, Hatred of the Living, Feed on Terror, Ethereal Rising. I can read. Got the veteran abilities. All sorts of stuff there. Cunning Frighteners, Spectral Juggernauts, Favorite of Nagash, Champions of All-Ender, Shrieking Reapers, Punishers of the Brave. Don't punish the brave. Got the territories. And for the territories, you have Harassed Outpost, Old Keep, Shyishian Realmgate, Tormented Barracks, Ancient Battle Site, Cursed City of Order, Soul-Infested Slums. Heroic upgrades, core enhancements. Man. Then we get into some of the battles, the battle plans. Phantasmal Invasion. Phantasmal, yep. I wasn't sure if I was reading that right. Fight or Flight. Ooh. Nighthaunt Processions. It gives you all the War Scroll battalions. They got ability? Yeah, they do have ability for these War Scroll battalions. Bound Beneath Indomitable Will. Indomitable Will. When the Nighthaunt gather, amethyst magic hangs heavy in the air. The spectral commanders serve as beacons of this deathly energy, lending their minions as unholy resilience. Lending their minions an unholy resilience. Jeez, I can read. Once per turn, at the start of the combat phase, you can pick one friendly Nighthaunt unit wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Nighthaunt hero, or wholly within 18 inches of a friendly Nighthaunt general. You can reroll ward rolls of 1 for that unit until the end of that phase. Oh, that's pretty cool. Make sure one unit, has higher odds of surviving, especially if they're like right stuck in, getting surrounded by like 3 different units or something. Yeah. Then we get into the match plays, grand strategies, the stuff of nightmares, a soul to claim, fright or flight, feed on terror, dismantle the brave. Ooh, dismantle them. Battle tactics, chilling ploys, overwhelmed with dread, tides of terror, mass panic, death by 1,000 cuts, one stop, no return, and ceaseless nightmares. That's for battle tactics. Then we get into by page 78, we get into the data sheets, war scrolls. Tell I do a lot of 40k stuff, right? Nagash is first on the list. He's got like a whole page in small print. All his abilities. Hoof. Painted that model way back when. Lady Oleander, Monarch of Grief. Very cool. Lots of rules. I'm not going to cover the rules because I'm sure there's plenty out there who are already covering the rules. Kurdos Valentian. Ulruk the Drowner. That battle ore. Like, it's pretty darn deadly. Considering he's got 4 attacks. And it's a -2 rend with doing D3 apiece. And he flies. How fast is he? 10-inch move. He's pretty fast. The model just kind of cracks me up, though. It's just kind of hilarious. He's just smacking with his oar. Reikenor the Grimhailer. Scriptor Mortis. I like the Scriptor Mortis. What does he do? What does the Scriptor Mortis even do? He flies too. He's got a lot of attacks. Not terrible, not terribly great to hit or rending or damage, but once per phase, you can allocate 1 wound or 1 mortal wound that would be allocated to this hero to a friendly Nighthaunt summonable unit within 6 inches of this hero instead. Oh, so you can pass off the wounds. He's pass off the buck. And you got to watch out for any guy with a pen in his hand, right? He's going to pass off the buck on you. So you smack him. He's like, no, he takes it. Oh. Knight of Shrouds. Knight of Shrouds on Ethereal Steed. Very cool. Kurgast Cruciator. Jeez. Dreadblade Harrow. Lord Executioner. Guardian of Souls. Yeah, you know, more and more of these Nighthaunts start to grow on me. I just kind of like the idea there's just these ghosties flying all over the place. And you see so many great paint jobs out on the internet of people painting these things all different ways. And yeah, I think that's really awesome. Spirit of Torment, Chain Ghasts, Tomb Banshees, Karn Wraiths. I'm pretty sure I painted a Karn Wraith before, like many years ago. Grimghast Reapers, Chain Rasps, Bladegeist Revenants, Craven Throne Guard, Glaive Wraith Stalkers, Spirit Hosts. That's just a little collection of little ghosties floating around. Yeah. Mymern Banshees, Morn. Anyway, Dread Scythe Harridans. How come they don't have the long ass name like before? What was I reading before? Unless they shortened it from the time I read it to the time I got to the War Scrolls. Like, oh, we better shorten that up. Chris is going to have a problem with it. The Black Coach. The Briar Queen. Oh, yeah, okay. That model. Yeah, that's another one of those models I like. I don't know. I like these ones that are, they have the veils and they have the roses and everything like that. I think those are just really, really cool looking models. Thorns of the Briar Queen. I guess that's like bodyguard dudes. I have no idea. Hex Wraiths. Shyish Reaper. Oh, that's that endless spell. The big scythe. Mortalis Terminexus. It's Hourglass. Vault of Souls. It's a casket with a bunch of heads popping out. You can keep that. Pitch battle profiles, and it gives you all the points values, the unit sizes, battlefield rolls, and then the quick little thing on the notes. Faction Nighthaunt allies, Soulblight Gravelords. And that's it. That is the Nighthaunt. It's a Death Battletome. It's a Death Battletome of the Nighthaunt. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully it gives you a bit of a broader view of the book, what it entails, what you get with it, of course, because we get the card for all the tokens for marking, you know, obviously when, you know, people are feeling the effects of, what is it? Petrify, Stun, and Shriek. Yeah, because it's that ability. Man, we just talked about it not too long ago. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. If you're brand new to this hobby, and you're curious about this faction, yeah, definitely would recommend picking up the book, especially for everybody out there who's looking to start these armies and don't really know where to go. Buy the book first. Get the book first. And that way you can get into the lore, get into the color guides, and then get into the army list building, you know, get an idea for the campaigns. And, you know, you go from there. It all snowballs from that point. And really the book, it starts with the book, and everything else, you know, becomes easier and becomes clearer as far as how you're going to build out your force, how you're going to paint your force, you know what I mean? And like what kind of games you want to play. Do you want to stick with regular match play and pick up kind of play games? Or do you want to do more narrative type of games, Path to Glory, where, you know, you're building up an army and, you know, or even like slow grow. If your local area does slow grow type campaigns, yeah, get in on some of those games, because, you know, it'll help you and help motivate you to see your army to completion. And so, yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed that video. Big thank you to my patrons. Without your support, this channel would not be able to continue to do what it is that I do. And so a huge thank you to everybody. Brand new, continued support, and all the brand new patrons as well. Huge thank you. Take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I will see you guys in the next video, be it an unboxing or a useless review. Let me know if you guys enjoy these useless reviews, because if you don't, well, too bad. I'm just going to keep doing them.